Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC 10 Plus this week. In dollars and cents, what the One Big Beautiful Bill means for your taxes in 2025 and beyond. And on 10 on your side, we're talking about gift card scams and what you need to know to stay safe. Then we hit the back roads. John Bartel heads north into Oregon to visit Crater Lake National Park. ABC 10 Plus this week starts right now. Investigators returned to the scene of a hit-and-run crash that killed two teenage girls in West Sacramento. Crews closed down the area of Jefferson Boulevard between Southport Parkway and Bevan Road for a couple of hours earlier today. Tonight, families of the teens who died in that hit-and-run crash were able to face the suspect and address him directly in court. 71-year-old David Walker is facing 7 counts, including murder and involuntary manslaughter. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live now from the Yolo County Superior Court.
So Roxanne, talk about how are the families taking all of this?
Well, Chris and Laura, I've been speaking to the families for the past few days, and one thing is very clear. Both of these families loved these girls, that they were extremely loved. And Jaya Chapman's mother today telling me that every time she thinks of her daughter, she sees a picture of her, it feels like the impact of that hit and run in the pit of her stomach, and she feels that pain will never go away. Dressed in pink shirts showing her photo, the family of 17-year-old Leah Krista Clemens showed up in droves at the Yolo County Superior Courthouse. They were followed in by the family of her girlfriend, 17-year-old Jaya Chapman. And for the first time in a packed courthouse, they were able to face David Walker, the suspect connected to their daughter's deadly hit and run. Hearing new details of what happened that Saturday night.
Mr. Walker, by his own admission to officers, drank 6 to 8 ounces of vodka before getting in a vehicle.
The families also learned Walker admitted to flipping a U-turn, going back to the scene, speaking with 2 people, and seeing one of the girls before leaving the scene. Both Jaya's father and Leah's godmother were allowed to address the defendant in court.
I got so many words for you, bruh, but I'm telling you right now, we're not going to stop.
Those girls will never get to go to college, and they'll never get to get their driver license, and they'll never get to have their 18th birthday.
Outside the courthouse, Jaya's father vowing to get justice for his firstborn daughter.
I want him to see me, and I want him to, whenever he go to the cell tonight, just to see me. And I just want him to let him know we're going to keep showing up, so he's going to continue to see me. Walker
is facing multiple counts, including 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, and 2 counts of hit and run. But on Wednesday, he surprised the families with a not guilty plea.
And I just think he's despicable. He stopped. He stopped and seen my grandbaby on the road.
Both families are now hoping for the maximum sentence, although they feel Walker is trying to reach a plea deal by pleading not guilty.
The most I can hope for is life without parole. That's the most I can help for, other than him dying legally through the court system. I don't think that the death penalty is on the table, but he deserves death.
Strong words there from the family. Today, Walker did ask for a public defender to be assigned to him. The judge says because he is considered a danger to the public, he will be held without any bail, and his next court appearance is set for August 20th. I'm live in Woodland. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Well, our thoughts are certainly with those families tonight. Keep us posted as you learn more. Roxanne, thank you.
New developments tonight in the redistricting battle in Texas that could trigger a special election here. As ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen reports, local counties are doing their best to prepare, but not everyone is on board with bypassing the independent redistricting commission.
As state leaders prepare for a potential special election, officials here in Placer County say they are doing the basic prep work. Meanwhile, a former member of the Redistricting Commission tells me she believes a special election is not the answer. Placer County officials are planning a possible special election in November.
We have to find our volunteers, which is 500 to 600 people, and we had to go and make sure that we have enough envelopes, enough ballot paper.
But planning is limited when it's unclear what will happen. On top of that, officials say it'll cost the county about $2 million of money they don't currently have.
We don't have the money to conduct this election. There's no guarantee that the state will actually pay for this election.
It comes as Texas Democrats fled their own state to break quorum, joining California leaders as the battle to redistrict continues in their state. Governor Gavin Newsom says California is preparing for a special election in response to President Donald Trump.
His agenda is failing. This presidency is failing. He knows the headwinds in a midterm. He's dialing for seats.
Congressional maps are normally drawn by the state's Independent Redistricting Commission. Jean Raya is a former member and says what California is doing right now is contrary to the will of the voters.
It violates everything about independent redistricting. It's being done on a purely partisan basis.
A part of the 2010 commission, she says it took 10 months to draw maps. And what lawmakers are doing now is not being done in a transparent manner.
Maps are being drawn behind closed doors, so voters are not going to have an opportunity to see those maps and propose changes.
But Speaker of the Assembly Robert Rivas says the new maps will be available soon and noted the Redistricting Commission.
Maps we anticipate will be available next week. Our work began with the work that was already done, as the governor just mentioned, by our Independent Redistricting Commission.
Former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi doubled down and says this is in defense of what the Trump administration is doing to the country.
It's not wrong in what we're doing. This is self-defense for our democracy.
As the legislature works to meet the August 22nd deadline to formalize what would go on the ballot, Raya believes this isn't what voters would want.
Completely contrary to the will of the voters who passed the Independent Commission.
ABC10 also reached out to Sacramento County officials to see how they are preparing. A spokesperson tells me right now they are just waiting and won't start recruiting workers or volunteers until they get official word that an election is actually happening. In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC10.
In 10 on your side, a reminder that gift card scams are growing across the nation and right here in the capital city. Tonight we have some ways to avoid becoming a victim. Take a look. Viewer Burchell Keys Tafoya contacted 10 on your side saying they paid $350 in cash for an Apple gift card, only to find it was already cashed before taking it home. And she's not alone. In just the last year, we've done multiple stories about this very issue. Back in November, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office arrested 4 people accused of tampering with more than 7,000 gift cards in Northern California, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. Deputies conducted Operation Bad Elf. That's where they arrested a man after they watched him switch out real gift cards for tampered gift cards, they said.
It's a buyer beware. When you are in a store and you grab one of these cards off the shelf, you are taking a gamble every time.
So how can you protect yourself? Here are some tips. Buy gift cards directly from the company and share the code with the person you're giving it to. Also, choose stores that keep gift cards in secure areas.
If they are not locked up and secured, you don't know who else has touched that gift card.
These crimes often start to increase around back to school time as well as the holidays. You can find more of our reporting on this topic on our website. Meanwhile, do you have a problem and don't know where else to turn? Email me at onyourside@abc10.com.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, an update on a sweeping tax law we first told you about at the start of this year. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is now permanent due to the recent passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill. As a result, a Sacramento-based financial expert I talked with says you could end up paying less in taxes and have more take-home pay.
We first talked about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act a few months ago at the beginning of the year as something to watch for in 2025. It was scheduled to sunset at the end of this year. Right. Things have changed. It is now permanent, and there's some good news for taxpayers. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and I would say, Laura, it's probably permanent with a small dose of steroids, if you will.
Joseph Eshelman, president of Tower Point Wealth, says if the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act did expire at the end of this year, most Americans would have experienced significant tax increases.
It was going to revert back to the tax brackets prior to that legislation passing.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was originally passed by Congress in 2017 under the first Trump administration. It substantially changed federal tax deductions, rates, and credits.
Now, the current 7 federal income tax brackets instituted back in 2017 are not going away, and the income thresholds for each bracket are also being adjusted upward to account for inflation and cost of living increases.
The bottom line is if the liability of an ABC10 viewer or of a person living in here in California to the IRS is reduced, ultimately that's putting more money back in their pocket.
Since 2017, tax filers and joint filing taxpayers have enjoyed the benefits of a higher standard deduction, which the act more than doubled. The Big Beautiful Bill raised the standard deduction even more, reducing taxable income for many households. Take a look. For single filers, it went from $14,600 to $17,000. For married couples filing jointly, the standard deduction went from just over $29,000 to $34,000.
Anytime we're able to realize additional cash flow and additional money in our pocket because we're paying less to Uncle Sam, I'm perhaps a bit biased as a financial advisor, but so much the better.
Eshelman says the larger standard deduction means more income staying in your pocket before taxes are collected. Eshelman says since 9 in 10 tax filers already use the standard deduction, this expansion increased the standard deduction's value further. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act also capped the deductions for state and local taxes at $10,000 a year.
But the new Big Beautiful Bill actually increased the SALT deduction from $10,000 up to $20,000 a year. So for a lot of ABC10 viewers, a lot of Sacramentans, it's a huge increase in how much they're able to deduct off of their tax return and hopefully ultimately put back into their pockets to do with what they want.
In the next few weeks, we're taking a deep dive into more tax benefits you could see thanks to the passing of the One Big Beautiful Bill, including the increased child tax credit and the so-called senior bonus. Remember, you can watch more of my Dollars and Cents coverage streaming right now on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. The app is free to download on your TV. You can also email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com. Fairfield residents are fuming about the possibility a hotel could become permanent supportive housing for homeless people who have mental health challenges or who are veterans.
Yeah, ABC10's Garj Paul Sunga was at the town hall tonight and has more on where the project stands.
The plans haven't popped up yet, but the voices sure have. Tensions flared at a town hall hosted by Fairfield's mayor and vice mayor after residents learned about a controversial plan turning this Sure Stay hotel on North Texas Street into permanent supportive housing for people who are homeless, struggling with behavioral health issues, and veterans.
We do not want any more criminal activity that there is involved because it will come.
This is not going to be a facility where people are just dropped off. This is not a homeless shelter, right? No, it is not. It is permanent supportive housing.
The idea is to provide long-term stable homes to help those struggling. The city council this week approved a zoning change for this hotel, but if the proposed project ever wants to go through, it still needs state funding and more approvals from the city.
A lot of people have jumped to conclusions about what it's going to look like with absolutely no information and no details, which we found out tonight there really aren't the details yet.
Vicki Good backs converting the old hotel into apartments, but isn't sold on the current version.
But at this time, I just can't see it happening and have it be the situation that's best for our city.
Danco Group is looking to bring the idea to life and declined to speak with ABC10 at this time, but during the meeting said the location checked key requirements. The issue about whether sex offenders would stay at the place was a key concern for many. While they weren't able to give a clear answer, the city manager tells ABC10 it likely won't accept violent offenders.
My home is my only investment.
My question is, are you going to believe research and facts, or are you going to believe fear-mongering?
Reporting in Fairfield, Garj Paul Sunga, ABC10.
Yeah, the developer says they plan to have an open house on the proposed project later this month and next month for people to learn more information.
Once a small agricultural community, the city of Elk Grove continues to grow ever since its big boom in the early 2000s. Elk Grove is located about 15 miles south of Sacramento. The city first incorporated in the year 2000, and it just marked its 25th anniversary. In the Sacramento region, many might know Elk Grove for the Auto Mall, Sky River Casino, and its big July 4th fireworks. As for its growth, according to the latest census data, more than 176,000 people call Elk Grove home. That's a more than 15% increase from 2010, when the population was more than 153,000 people. And while real estate analysts believe Elk Grove home sales peaked during the pandemic, the city still remains one of Sacramento's top 5 hotspots. For residents, though, they say traffic is their #1 concern. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen takes a closer look at growth and how the city is addressing those concerns.
For more than 2 decades, Elk Grove has been more than just a place to live for Jason Hamilton. When he and his wife started growing a family, they knew Elk Grove was the ideal community to call home.
Better school districts. Elk Grove does have a good school district, and we had kids in elementary school at the time, so we wanted to come out here. And also we like the culture. It's really diverse out here.
And life moved at a slower pace.
Traffic wasn't as bad at all. You can get from one side to the other probably in, I'd say, half the time that you can now.
But over the last 10 years, Jason,
If they send the offer,
a realtor by day, noticed a change.
At that point, then you had a lot of people from the Bay Area coming out here because it was, they could sell their house out there and come up here and pay cash.
With longtime Elk Grove residents seeing more of their neighbors coming from the Bay Area, it's brought more traffic, especially along major roadways like here along Elk Grove Boulevard and Laguna Boulevard.
The real-time video feed.
City officials say residents' top complaint is traffic. That's why the city's traffic engineering division is developing more tools to try and ease traffic concerns.
So we can monitor traffic signal congestion, and we can see, hey, if the signal or the congestion's backing up to Highway 99, we can take a look, hey, is something going on, what's wrong? We're able to flush traffic out of the way.
The city has 160 traffic signals and uses video detection to monitor traffic volumes. If there are issues with signals, the city is able to fix it in real time in this center.
The signals are timed in a coordinated, synchronized fashion to where you should get a progression of 5 or 6 green lights in a row, and that's all based on traffic volumes and time of day.
The city is working on a new system that will calculate traffic in real time rather than just during peak commute times. It's expected to roll out this fall.
That's where the video detection cameras come in, and they give us counts throughout the day, and then it says, hey, I only had 50 cars, I don't need as much green time, next time go around. So when another 50 cars come, it's going to use less time. And then if 60 cars show up, it'll give it a little bit more green time.
The city is also building a new interchange at White Lock Parkway.
So it's going to be a long process, but the city does have a project allocated for this, and we're still looking for funding opportunities.
While many longtime Elk Grove residents can't stand the traffic,
she doesn't want to play.
Former Bay Area resident Jonathan Lee says it's one of the main reasons he chose to move to the area 5 years ago.
I wanted something that I didn't want to sit in traffic a lot.
Jonathan says settling in was an easy transition.
So there's a lot of parks, lakes, and I'm very close to one of my favorite places, Tahoe.
Another major factor in leaving the pricey Bay Area was the high cost of housing. As a realtor, Jonathan often sees many people like himself relocating to Elk Grove for its affordability.
They could buy more house for almost half the price up in Elk Grove and Sacramento. They can get bigger houses, more land.
Housing analyst Ryan Lundquist says Elk Grove's growth peaked during the pandemic, with low interest rates and the promise of a great deal. While things have calmed down, Lundquist says Elk Grove remains a hot spot.
I think single family is the dominant force in Elk Grove, and so last year there were about 430 homes that were built, according to North State BIA data. They came in fourth in the region. Only Sacramento, Roseville, and Rancho Cordova were ahead of Elk Grove.
And now there is a specific part of the city that's seeing a majority of the new development.
Mostly 95757 zip code, and that's sort of the hotbed for new construction. But what you're going to see is a bunch of stucco. You're going to see smaller lots and everything being built close together. A lot of two-story units because those are less expensive to build typically.
As Elk Grove continues to change, newcomers like Jonathan say,
I feel like the opportunities at Elk Grove is continually going to grow.
While longtime residents like Jason believe
We're here. We're not going anywhere for the near future. We have kids and grandkids tying us here, so we're here.
Right now, we're fighting for our life, Andy.
Highland's new executive director is just weeks in and already tasked with rebuilding a school in crisis and answering for misused taxpayer funds.
Highland's leadership has spent millions on travel, five-star resorts, golf events, parties, lobbying, to name a few. Where that money was not going was to the students.
Yeah, so, I wasn't here when a lot of those decisions were made, and a lot of mistakes were made. And a lot of money, was spent in the way that was inappropriate. But under my watch, we're not going to waste public resources.
His main message, Highlands must stay open for students.
This is their safe haven. This is their lifeline. And if Highlands closes, there's nowhere else for them to go.
He promises a new direction, one that puts students first.
So I'm reviewing everything. I'm looking at our curriculum, because we need to do better for our students. It's building a high-quality team, and it's doing everything we can to build Highlands back better.
You say that you're going to bring in new leadership, things are changing here, but the audit did find several employees lacked the experience, education, and credentials needed and required for their positions, but they were employed due to nepotism or personal connections. These employees remain here, some even still in leadership positions. How do you justify that?
I'm reviewing all of our positions. I've asked to see, position descriptions, qualifications. So we're going to go through it, line by line. And if we have folks that aren't qualified, we'll remove them.
One of his first moves, calling for the entire Highlands board to step down, he says.
I will depart as soon as you know you have a suitable person.
But I am resigning.
To announce my decision to resign.
And all the board has committed, to resigning and to being replaced.
Another key priority for Raymond is increasing graduation rates.
Yeah, they're way too low. They're unacceptable.
But one critical change, he says, needs to happen internally.
Staff here previously described a toxic and cult-like workplace. Will there be specific culture changes under you? And if so, how do you implement that when it's, the culture, it's on such a personal level?
Yeah, so I think it's how you just ended. It's on a personal level. It starts with me, and then it starts with the folks that I hire. And it's also about setting high expectations.
So if we sit down, let's say in another year, what do you hope has been done by that point? What does success look like in the first year you're here?
Yeah, well, I think success looks like, we're open, right? We're still here. We're able to provide both the academic and the supports to our students that they need, that meet their learning styles and that meet their needs. And that the story is, Highlands rebuilt back better.
What's your message to people who are watching this interview, especially the staff and students who feel let down by what's happened?
Yeah, well, I just want them to know that I see them. This is their school. And I want them to know that, they're worth fighting for. So I'm here to fight.
It's often referred to as the crown jewel of Oregon. Crater Lake National Park, home to the deepest lake in the United States, bottoming out at depths of 1,943 feet. It also holds some of the cleanest and clearest water in the world. But if you want to get down to the water, the only way to get there is on the Cleetwood Cove Trail, a grueling, steep, 1-mile-long walking path that's unfortunately about to close.
There are trees that have fallen, rocks that have decided to find a new home, things that just need to be repaired. And it's come time that the trail needs some major TLC.
Summer of 2025 will be the last time the general public will be allowed to get to Crater Lake's cobalt blue colored waters until trail repairs are finished in 2029.
So this is temporary. It's been temporary for a number of years.
Park Ranger Audrey Golden says the reason for the lengthy repairs is because for about 9 months out of the year, roads and trails into Crater Lake are covered in snow. That means construction crews have a short window to fix the failing trails, bathrooms, and boat launch.
To get all the equipment that we need and materials we need down to the lake, it is not safe on this trail to have them going up and down with materials and park visitors as well.
Knowing this would be my last chance to get down to the water, I asked Audrey for the grand tour.
What you're looking at is a lake that was formed because the top 5,000 feet of a 12,000-foot mountain decided to collapse back down into the earth where the material originally came from.
Crater Lake is the result of multiple volcanic implosions and explosions that happened 7,700 years ago. Left behind was a crater or caldera 5 miles wide for water to collect in.
This is a closed system. There are no rivers or streams that allow sediment, pollution, plants or animals into the lake. So the only way that water gets into Crater Lake is from precipitation, so rain and snow. On a good day, we can see down about 100 to 104 feet.
The water in Crater Lake is not only clean and clear, but it also holds some mystery.
Just off the bow of the boat, we're going to make a few laps. You're going to see something sticking up out of the water up here. It's the Old Man of Crater Lake. Who here has heard of the Old Man?
To learn more about the mysterious water, it's best to catch a boat tour of the lake with interpreter Marley Kinsman.
The Old Man is a 30-foot long mountain hemlock log who stands vertically up in the lake and just bobs around all throughout the day. He was first spotted in the lake in 1896, but he has been carbon dated beyond 450 years old.
It's unclear why or how the Old Man has survived so many years in Crater Lake, but Marley provides tourists like me with a possible explanation.
And I will tell everybody else soon on the boat, but this is also known, Crater Lake is also known as the Fountain of Youth. All of our employees, while we might look very young, very beautiful, we are averaging anywhere between 100 and 1,000 years old.
Crater Lake water is so clean, it's safe to drink right out of the lake, and Marley says the national park is the only place you can taste it because though scientists have discovered a leak in the lake, they are not sure where the water goes.
We sampled water from many local waterways, and not a single one has any trace of Crater Lake water. So where it goes after it leaves the Palisades really is a mystery.
There are so many more mysteries to see on the boat tour, including what's living on Wizard Island and what's below the rocky outcrop of Phantom Ship. That's one heck of a hike. Unfortunately for visitors, those lake mysteries can't be explored until repairs to the Cleetwood Trail are completed in 2029.
It is going to be disappointing for a lot of visitors, but in the end, we will have a much better trail, a safer trail.
From Crater Lake National Park, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Plus this week. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care. I'll see you next time.